So welcome to Gold Rush Weekly Watch List, where we go over any setups that we see that look like they're ready to go for this week to put money in our members' pockets. So I launched a poll, and based on a poll, I'm seeing a lot of people had a kind of a midweek. So you guys, there's a poll in progress. So go ahead if you and futures just opened up actually. So by the time we end this call, we should see some sort of direction, or the beginning of some sort of direction, hopefully. So what you see on your screen now is just our website. If you guys haven't visited our website, just check it out. You're gonna see a lot more action in the blog section. We update our watch list here once a week, every week. There's also a bunch of different articles and stuff that we have put up for the people. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Let me switch my screen here. And so I'm gonna go over the indices, what I see with the indices. In the meantime, while I do that, I would like to see any ticker requests. You guys can go ahead and just drop them in the chat. And after I go over the indices, I hand it over to T so he can give us what he sees, and then we'll come back and we'll take your requests. So let me just switch over to my other screen. All right, cool. So you guys should be able to see my trading view. All right, let me get a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen clearly and if you can hear me clearly. Okay, cool. So all right, so this is the S&P 500 on a daily. Let me go into, actually before I go into the 4 hour, we've been holding these trend lines. I'm gonna go ahead and extend them out. We've been holding these 2 trend lines for quite some time. And as you can see, they're not 100% precise. One of them is from back in October 29th. And we've kind of just been holding this uptrend. We've breached it, obviously, because it's not a perfect line, and the market doesn't care too much about our trend lines, but it is, we can see that we're still in an uptrend. Even during all this choppy time here, we managed to still make all new highs throughout this whole time. If we go into a month view, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if we go into a monthly view, we've been making new highs each and every month, with the exception of this month here, October. But ever since then, we've been just steadily making all new highs every single month. And I know that sometimes it doesn't feel like it, like when you see all this here and all this here and all this, it definitely doesn't feel like it. But we've just been, you could have bought and just held throughout this whole thing, which is wild to see. So back to the daily charts. So we're obviously holding trend. The price isn't as volatile as, for example, this day or these days, right? We're getting smaller candles. The days are getting a little bit more choppier. And then if we look at our MACD, the swings are getting less volatile. They're tightening up. And so what I expect to see with the SPX is a massive move, just based on, look at how massive this swing was up and down. Based on the fact that it's tightening up, I expect there to be a large swing. I can't tell you which direction. I mean, we are at all-time highs. And so I assume that we're going to come back to test this trend line, or maybe even this trend line at some point. Personally, I don't like to feel too euphoric in the market. And so, right now we're opening up within the higher range of Friday's price action. It's a red candle, but we're still within the higher range. We have a lot of range here to test, but yeah, so we'll see. This could be entirely invalid in the morning, so we'll see what the morning gives us. In terms of NASDAQ, which also just opened, it opened a little bit lower than Friday's close. NASDAQ is rejecting off of all-time highs. And what we can easily see is it can find support at some of these levels over here. Go ahead and draw a box on it. We could find support at some of these levels over here, right? These previous resistances can act as support and give us a little push to turn back upward. I saw a lot of money going into crypto and a lot of money going into banks and oil and energy, and so maybe growth is taking a break, right? Maybe we'll see a break in growth. But again, that was on Friday. Monday might be a whole entirely new situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch these areas for NQ tomorrow morning to see where we are, to see if we can give some general direction in the morning. T Money, you ready? I don't think T is ready. Let me see. Is he on here?
Hey, sorry, I was trying to find my mic.
All good, bro. You ready to go?
Yeah, let me just expand this stuff 1 second.
Yes, sir. How's your weekend, bro?
It's been busy, bro. It's been busy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So my Zoom is acting weird. Okay, great. Yeah, okay, I got it now. So can I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Um,
I see Wish, and Wish is definitely one of the tickers I want to go over.
all right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before I start, I'll just add a little thing to what Huey just talked about um for SPY and Nasdaq. For SPY, and I'm using the weekly because I want to see what the week looks like. For SPY, we had the week ended on a spinning top, which is this sign here, and I'll show you guys why it's important. So when we say spinning top, it sounds fancy, but literally what we're saying is that you had this big candle the week before. I mean, 2 weeks ago, last week we had this doji candle here, whereby we needed it to make a decision or not, and all the rest. And last week we had a candle whereby the price opened up here, dropped all the way down here, and buyers bought it all the way back up here, right? So we had the whole week as a whole was seen as a positive one, in the sense that it dropped down and it was brought all the way back here. What that tells me is that, or one of the key things that tells me, is that I should be looking out for, if this opens up above here, then we should have a run in SPY, right? That's what this is telling me. Just these three candles here, right? You had the big one, you had the decision, you had the one that pulled back, but buyers brought it all the way back. So on a whole, the week ended in a great place. We just need to see it open above that to know that we're in the right place. If it pulls below that, then we're coming down to 435 or something like that. So this is just what I see on SPY. For Nasdaq, and I use the composite Isaac IXIC. It's the same as NQ, but I just use this similar in a way, not quite, but similar in a way. Big green candle, red candle there. This green candle, not quite a spinning top, but very close to it. So similar things, we need to see it open above here. If it opens above here tomorrow, then we know that we're gonna get a run. If it opens above there and holds, then we'll probably have a great week, right? If it doesn't hold above that, then we're dropping back. It's gonna drop probably down to 14,500, which is huge, because right now we're at 14,835. So just something to watch out for. So either way, we're gonna watch it to see what happens. But that's what I see with both of these ones. How do I hide this? Because this is distracting me. Okay, so just give me a second, guys. This is distract. I'm trying to hide this stuff, but yeah, great, awesome. So with ignore a lot of this, I'll look at. I know most of us posted earnings and all the rest. So let's look at earnings, some earnings plays, right? I'll look at. Let's start with FUBO. And what do I see with FUBO? FUBO has FUBO, had this run, dropped all the way back down here, consolidated here somewhat, traded sideways all the way here. So I'm expecting that, let me enlarge it also. My expectation is that if FUBO, this is where it ended. If it can open up above here and cross this line here, FUBO will run, and FUBO has its earnings on the 10th. I think that was yeah. FUBO has earnings on the 10th, so on Tuesday. So I'm expecting that FUBO might move sideways a little bit for one more day, or it might just move up a little bit for one more day. But the setup is already looking good for a reversal. So if FUBO has any form of good earnings, I expect this to go off. This is for FUBO. Obviously this line here is my entry line, and I think it can run up to $35. Is that 26? I will wait for it to see what happens once it crosses 28.44 thereabout. And once it crosses that, I get my confirmation. I think FUBO can go up to $35 with good earnings behind it. That's FUBO. Let's look at Coinbase. Coin also has earnings on Tuesday. Similar analysis for me for Coin. Is dropped down, going sideways now. Been trending sideways for a while and started this slight reversal. So now we're in a point whereby if Coinbase, and we have this doji here, so if Coin decides to open up above this wick that we've got here, which is this line here, which is at my 264 range, yep, 264. If it crosses that, then Coin could shoot off big time, to 306 or thereabout. That's like almost a $40 move. That's one anticipate with it, but it has to cross that line. This is not, you guys, you realize that I'm one of those guys that I talk about patience, but patience is not just what do you do when you're in the play. Patience is also what do you do before you get into the play. I'm not in a hurry to jump into a play because I see it moving. If I need to wait for it, I will wait for that play regardless of how much anybody's making from it. So with this one, it looks like 258 to 263. That's a $5 move. That's a lot of move, but I will wait. But compared to the ability to make $40, I'll wait for that $5. I'm willing to sacrifice that. At least that's how I trade. So I'll wait for that move to see. But I think there's an upside here for Coin. Now I also saw some that have some downside, and one of them is UPST. Which is I think it's on the 10th as well. I think they've got earnings on the 10th as well. Yep. With this one, it looks to me like we might see it down. We might see this drop between Monday and Tuesday, and then if they have earnings on Wednesday, I'll get out. The way I'll play this one, if I go into UPST, once I see this dropping below here, I'm gonna get put. Let me put it here. I'm gonna go put. If it drops below here, let's see. Yeah. So for Upstart, this is called a broadening formation, whereby the price is expanding the space in which it's trading. So it's been trading in this stuff. So this is what we refer to as a broadening formation. So it's come all the way down, it's bounced all the way up. I kind of see this pulling down between Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll get out. And then I'll wait for earnings. I will not prejudge earnings. I will wait to see what earnings does. The good thing about plays like this is if it tanks, it drops and it gives you an opportunity to catch it up later. If it goes up, it runs up, it holds back, it gives you an opportunity to catch up later. So I will not gamble with this one. I will not let this, if I go into this play, I will not stay in this play until earnings. I will get my money out and then I'll wait to see what earnings does and then I'll react to that. But I anticipate a pullback tomorrow and probably Tuesday as well. I'm not positive about this play at all. I might be completely wrong, but right now it's not looking in a great shape to me. That's Upstart. Where is that? Yeah. Then I'm looking at Neo. Neo has earnings also. Is it earnings? I think Neo has earnings on Thursday, if I'm right. I think Neo has earnings on Thursday. With Neo, I anticipate an upward move for Neo, and I know it's been moving for a bit and pulled back, but I anticipate that Neo is gonna go. I'm not sure how this. I anticipate that Neo will have an upward move on it. If Neo breaks this line, it's gonna drop to $38. So that it could drop down to $38 here first. But if it breaks 41, we're looking at 38. Neo holds this line where it's at now, runs up here, and some people could get in here or what I won't. I'm gonna be patient with Neo. And if Neo crosses this line for me, which is like the $46, $47 line, I think Neo could run all the way to $55. So there's a huge potential for Neo to go. It might actually, this is a flag, right? It's a bullish sign. However, Neo's price is here now. Neo needs to start making a reversal. If it breaks out of this stuff, it's gonna drop out. It's gonna drop down, and then this will be invalidated, and we'll find a new entry for Neo. But in its current state, this is what I see. I've seen the run up, I've seen the pullback, I should say the breakout, but um, I'm watching to see. I'm watching to see what it does. But if Neo does bounce off this line here and starts reversing, and spade that we could get a good run for Neo. If I check again, 1 second, because I know that I saw Neo. Somebody posted Neo down the
It's aftermarket on the 11th.
on the 11th, exactly. Perfect. Yeah, I know I saw that somewhere. So not sure why it's not showing here. So I do think Neo is gonna go, but you know, and then one, maybe just two more I could look at. Blink, I think Blink is gonna drop. I personally think Blink is gonna drop. I know you've got the EV news and all the rest, which is great. Um, from Joe, which is the 11th. So if it shoots up, amazing, we take it. But my anticipation for Neo is that for Blink rather is that we could see a pullback on Blink in the short term, and then maybe it'll run up after that. So looking at it, I've seen this move. I expect that it's gonna break out to the downside. It might break out to the upside, I don't know, but I anticipate it could break out to the downside. So if this happens, and you can see I put my entry really low, really, because it could run from here to here. So I could get in here if I want to, somewhere around here, because there's actually an entry here. Let me put it. I'm a little bit extremely conservative, but there's an entry here. So it breaks out from here, there's an entry, but that gives you a price target of here. If it breaks from here, it goes down here, and the eventual price target will be down here. So for Blink, I am really thinking it's one of those ones that I'm not positive about. So I'm probably gonna wait for confirmation and then most likely see if it goes down. If it's going down, there's a serious put play for us here for Blink. And I think that was the same thing I saw for Palantir, which also has earnings on the 12th. Now remember, all I'm doing here is analysis without earnings. I'm not taking the earnings into account yet. I'm just giving the analysis based off on what I see right now. So these things could still play out the way I'm thinking it might play out, and then once the earnings is released, everything changes. That's a huge possibility. But for now, without earnings, between now and the 12th is Thursday, if I'm right. The 12th is Thursday, yeah. Between now and Thursday, what do I see for Palantir? If Palantir breaks out of this triangle, I see it dropping down. It might not drop all the way down to $17 like I've got here, but I see it dropping down from where it's at right now. In my opinion, at least that's what I see for Palantir. Now it could drop down, and then with earnings it could shoot up. So I see Palantir like two plays. You get it if you want. If Palantir starts dropping tomorrow, we get a put. We let the put run Monday, Tuesday, probably Wednesday. Get out what we can between those 3 days, and then wait to see what earnings is. If earnings is good and a reversal starts, we jump in on the reversal and we go back up. So it's a two-way strategy for me on this one. I'm not but in the interim, without earnings, I see this. I don't like where this is looking. I see it like something that could go down. So entry dotted line, which is at 21.57. You know, is at 21.38. Yeah, entry dotted line here, 21.13 actually. It goes in there, it breaks down further. That's where I would play this one. You know. Then I've got Dash. I see Dash going up. And this is the last one. I know that we're still going to run through some of you guys' ones, but for Dash, I see Dash going up. It's so literally, I've drawn almost a triangle, almost a flag, whatever I want to call it, a flag. But within that flag, I've also seen my double tap, so it's giving me that, on the bottom here, and first tap, second tap on the top as well. Need a breakout. So looking at it, this is what it looks like. So I've got this here, this line. This is my first line it needs to break, and then this is the second line it needs to break. So I need it. Yep. So that's, pull that there. That's 189.29. It's at 181. So I can run it up. If it starts going up, I can run it up from 181 to 189, get my profit out, and then I'll wait to see if it breaks 189. If it breaks 189, I get back again. If it breaks that 189, I jump back in again and I run it up. But I'm not gonna hold it all the way. I'm gonna run it from 181 to this, because this is my first profit gain if it starts going up. And once I get out, I'll wait to see what happens here. If it breaks here, I jump back in again, and with the potential that this could go up to 202. However, if this fails, if this fails and it starts dropping, but if it goes up here and gets rejected, I know that there's a put somewhere here as well. So either way, we're going to play what the market gives to us, but having this on my chart allows me to know areas of interest. Price is here right now. If it starts coming down here and it breaks this line, I know that it could drop to 169. So I'm going to wait for that confirmation. And if it drops, did I move this now? Yeah, I mistakenly moved this. If it drops, I'm going to take that put. So whatever I get, I'm ready for it. It gives me a put, I'll take it. It gives me a call, I'll take it. So that's where I am with this one. I think those are the major plays for this week that I'm looking at. The rest are plays that we're already in. Some of them are already in. We're in TSM. I see TSM. If TSM holds here, I see it still going up. If it breaks down here, I see it dropping down here. But we're already in this play. I'm still a little bit bullish on TSM. We're in Yum. Yum has been trading sideways. It's got up here and now it's trading sideways. So it needs to break this line to continue that run. It doesn't break that line, it drops below this. There should be another break here. It drops below that, we're exiting it. Right, so no, it's actually this one. It drops below that, we're exiting it, because then we're on a free fall all the way to 125. So it falls below 131, I'm out of Yum, but I think Yum could still go. That's a play we're in. We're in HD as well. HD had a big pullback on Friday. I needed to hold that line. If it holds here, If it holds here, we're probably going to go back up again. If it doesn't hold here and it starts dropping, we're exiting it again because we can't let it get here. I could just draw a line here, 325. So that's what I'm looking at for that one. So these are existing plays. I talk a lot about play management. Well, this is what it looks like. Every play is still on my screen and I'm still watching it because I need to be reacting to whatever the market gives to me. I'm not, no one can predict, no one can, foresee tomorrow, but whatever the market gives, we should be nimble and swift enough to adjust our trades to it. So that's what I literally do. So every play I've called out, I'm watching it. If the market reacts one way, I'm going to react the other way and get out or do whatever I need to do with it. This is NVTA. I still think it's going to run, but it pulled back. I think close of business, and this is not capturing what happened after market, but after market we had a little bit of run. Let's see, it ran up to I think it ended at 32.95, which is somewhere around here. So we're in a good place with this one. I needed to just continue that run, but we ended 32.95 was where it ended on Friday after that little market run that we had. So let's say this is 32.95. So price is currently here, which is a great place. So we need it to hold here. If it holds here, then we know that this is, we're still on track, but we don't need it to drop. And then obviously the wing that most people have been asking about. I still think wing is in a great place. It's now at 176. Trading this place, we need it to hold and break into this space. And if it runs the initial, what I see for wing is around 190. It won't get to 200 immediately, but it will give us some more returns than we currently have on it. So yeah, this is just a combination of new plays I'm looking for the week and how I plan to manage the ones I'm already in. And I think one last one, I know that someone, I think it was Jeff, was asking about TDD, and I know they've got earnings tomorrow. Without earnings, this is what I see, but I think their earnings is before market open, so you never know. I don't know what's going to happen, but if it opens up and we see a run, for TTD, I think TTD goes up to $100. So if they have good earnings and everything looks great and there's an upward movement for it, I think this is one of those ones that if it starts running, we catch it and we go with it. The potential for this play to go up is great, but if it doesn't run and it hangs and it starts dropping, it drops to $77 as your first price target. So either way, by the time the market is open tomorrow, we'll know what TTD is doing and we'll react to it. But yeah, that's just a quick summary of everything either I'm looking at or I'm managing right now. Huey, over
Yes,
to you.
sir. Yeah, let me I have a handful that we can go through and then we'll go through some requests. All right, so let me take over real quick. Okay, you guys should be able to see my trading view. So I'm just gonna go through the list quickly. Can you guys see my trading view? T, can you see it?
No.
Oh, hold on.
I think I'm still having challenges with this thing today. Everything is hidden from me. Okay, hold on. Let me stop. Okay, I've stopped sharing.
Oh, let me get out of
I
full
see your
screen.
screen now.
Okay, cool. You see my trading view?
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool. So I just have a handful. The first one's Mara. We're already in some of these plays. Some people are already in some of these plays. I think there's more to give. I was looking at Mara last week because of this triangle it was forming. On Wednesday, it broke out and it broke out of that triangle. On Thursday, it made a continuation. On Friday, it made a big move. So the level that I need for Mara to continue moving and give us an additional entry would be this level at 3488. If we can take above 3488, then we can test some of these higher levels. Let me go ahead and place one here. If you look at the MACD, is very strong. Maybe it'll give us one more strong green day before it starts to turn over. one or two strong green days before it starts to turn over. RSI is extremely hot, but RSI, I personally don't like to look at RSI too much. It's one of the last indicators that I look at, to be honest with you. We still have a little bit of room to go, as you can see here. There's still a little bit more room before it turns around. And the TTM just went green 4 days ago. So same thing. We might have one or two more days left in this run. It might be a sideways day. It might be, trade along this line kind of day, but I'm watching for a break and hold of this line for me to take an additional play to move more to the upside. And these are my upside targets on Mara. The next one that I have is RIOT. RIOT is actually doing the same exact thing. It just doesn't have a strength in the past 2 days as much as Mara did. I think RIOT has a bigger market cap. And so it's just more difficult to move the stock. So with RIOT, my entry would be break of the open of the day, or break of the close of the day, excuse me. I have a feeling we're gonna gap and open above it. And so, if it does open above it, let's see if it tests this level as support before it works its way back up. If you like it, then you can jump in immediately. I want to see it hold like these levels here. This level at 35.76 and then 35.92 are levels that I'm interested in seeing it hold. And then it does get a little bit choppy here, but if we can hold these levels and form a base of these levels, I see no reason why we can't go up to 37.67 and $38 with RIOT. And if you do a quick search on RIOT, Mara, SOS, Bitcoin, Ethereum rather, Dogecoin, pretty much anything on Twitter, you'll see that the sentiment has shifted to positive. So, you just want to follow a little bit of that sentiment. Also in the news, you see that some of the JP Morgan wealth managers and some of these bigger funds are now pitching crypto actively to their clients. So that's good for all of these mining companies. The only thing is, I would watch for, there's some talk of regulation. So I would just keep your eyes open on that. And I don't know if China played a part in keeping Bitcoin down because they were outlawing it. I think that news has come and go. And so I think the market is ready to bring this back up. So I'm watching these two. The next one that I have, the next couple that I have are part of the reopening trade, CCL and AAL. A lot of money flowed into these two tickers on Friday and Thursday, starting on Wednesday, actually. Even though the news says that coronavirus is stronger and much more active, and they're thinking of shutting down countries. And actually the UK, I saw something on TikTok about the EU shutting down travel to anybody who's coming in from the United States, particularly, except for UK. So that, that takes effect apparently this morning. So I would keep an eye on that. But if we do get a continuation to the bull side, I wouldn't play anything until it breaks this level here at 23.36. If it breaks this level, there's a lot of upside. These are all easy targets to hit right here for CCL. And if the news is indeed bearish and it takes us down, then let me set some downside targets. If it's bearish and it takes us down, then I would enter at the open of the day right here. And then you have we need to take that one. You have one target here and you have one target here. And I'm gonna get rid of this one. Just gonna eliminate some of these. Those are my three targets to the downside. All right, here's your entry. And here's your downside targets. On the bull side, I would take entry here. I would take entry at the green line. Bear side, I would take entry at the red line. And the black line in the middle is just one that I expected to trade along before it chooses which direction. And these are your targets. Yeah, so this CCL is closely tied to the news, just like American Airlines is. We took a play on American Airlines on Thursday. and it put in this. I think this is called a hanging man, or a hanging man, or even almost a dragonfly doji. What I see is it opened. It tried to push higher, right? It gapped on the open. It tried to push higher, but then sellers pushed it all the way back down. The sellers brought this candle all the way down to a low of 2052, but then the buyer stepped in. So that's very bullish in my opinion. Let me go to a smaller time frame. Yeah, and actually that looks like it might have happened early in the day. Let's go to 30-minute. Yeah, so it gapped up, and then it opened. They pushed it up, and they sold it off, and they actually sold it off. I'm gonna go ahead and draw this line so you can see it. They sold it off into the previous resistance. This previous resistance became support for American Airlines. And so if you would have had this line drawn on your screen, you know, and that's why it's important. I mean, I don't do it often because I can kind of eyeball it, but you know, for anyone who's learning technical analysis and learning how to chart, you should always carry the previous day's highs and lows, as well as pre-market high and lows into your trading session. Carry the previous day's highs and lows and pre-market high and lows into your trading session, so you know where the pivot points are. You know, because if you might have panic sold right here when a fresh buyer who just saw that there was a resistance here and saw this curling action and saw this lower shadow would have bought right there and made some money on that move. And maybe even, you know, not only that, but now you see, not only you see the previous resistance serving as support, but now you also see some higher lows forming, right? Now, again, this is tied to the news, and so we might see this entire thing invalidated by some bad news. But I like AAL. Going back to the daily chart, we can see that there's plenty of upside on this, right? Plenty of upside. It actually looks like it almost did a double bottom with a higher low. So I'm bullish. Personally, again, it's tied to the news, so we just have to be very careful. Do I have a downside target for this? Let's see. So my upside is break of the previous day's open is your entry. And then your upside targets are, I mean, there's a nice risk reward for this, in my opinion. Lots of upside, right? And then if you want to play puts, you can take, and this is just, I can tell this is just the previous days, the previous resistance there based on where it is. You want to take this break of the low of day. And you can take that down to all of these levels. I'm bullish on it, but again, we're gonna let the news give us whatever it wants. As you can see on a MACD, it just gave us a green candle. There was three days of red candle. Now we have a green candle, so and it's not like a light green candle, so I'm hoping that we can continue this momentum. Also, you can see the signal line made a sharp move across the MACD line, sharp move. RSI is very stable, and the TTM was showing weakness, but then it regained its strength. So I like, you know, I like AAL for a move to the upside. The next one is a ticker that I don't have any analysis on. This is a T Money and BT special right here. NEE. The last time they were talking about NEE, it was man, it might have been like over here somewhere. And this thing has just gone insane. Let me go to the weekly real quick. Yeah, I mean, NEE, if you look at it, it formed kind of a cup and then kind of a handle right here. Now it's breaking out of that cup and handle.
That was the one I asked everybody to do an assignment on. I don't think
Bro,
people did. I know NEE did, and that was what I was expecting. This move you just showed is what I was expecting people to see, but you know.
yeah. And you know, it's funny. This is such a clean move. I saw it when it happened on this week. I'm like, okay, it's showing strength. And then let me actually, the reason why I liked it, I've never played this ticker. So, you know, the reason why I liked it is because there was a lot of sell pressure on this week, and all it could do was form a doji, right? And then the next week I saw I put in a nice green week. It opened up below this close and it closed above this open and close. And so I'm like, all right, that's strength. That's just pure strength there. And now the volume is picking up. They have, only thing is that they have a dividend coming out in 3 weeks. But I feel like, and I don't know what the chains on this look like, but I feel like it's a nice calm play. Obviously, I think there's going to be some natural resistance just at this level. You know, there's an upper shadow here. There's going to be some natural resistance. There's going to be some sell orders just sitting at this level. And, you know, just this whole level right here is going to be just a tough area to break through. But if it can get above these levels, let's look at this real quick. You know, if it can get above, actually, I'm gonna bring it over here. If it can get above these levels, we might be able to put another green candle in like this and make a move like this, right? Just another upside move. What I expect with NEE, if it continues to be bullish, and again, I've never played this, but I've just been watching it, is I expect something like this, something like that, right? But who knows? We'll see. I think, is that me? Hold on, I think I got some music playing.
Let me.
Go ahead, T.
I was gonna say, let me quickly talk about NEE one a little bit as well.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to take the chart, or you?
Yeah, let me just share my screen
All
because
right, go for it. Go for it.
what I typed on it is still there. So you guys will hear my daughter from the background. So I'm trying to find this thing. Everything is hidden today. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm just gonna share the NEE chat that I've got. Can you all see my screen?
Hold on, I think I gotta stop sharing.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Where's my Zoom screen? Stop share. Okay, you should have it. Yep.
So let me show you guys something. I just typed in NEE and it will show you what I've had forever. This is the 5 minute. And this is NEE daily. Now watch this. This is what I drew on it when I asked you guys to do some homework on it. And I'll expand it so you can see. This is NEE. I've not touched this since that day, but look at what I drew that day. And I've not touched it. I just opened it up now and I haven't touched it since then. But guess what? It did everything it said it was going to do. It formed the cup. It had the pullback for the handle. This is the arrow I drew. Look at where I put the arrow. It's gone past that. All this was still happening when it was still, I think it was still down here when I started talking about it or something. This guy keeps coming in and out. So we've had this run for NEE already. It's already run up to $80. So now, like you was saying, yes, key area of interest. Now it needs to break a certain line and all. But there were two plays here. There's the first play between when I asked you guys to look at it and here, which is, I think, that area he had on his. And then we know that if it goes past here, it will pull back, it will trend sideways for a little bit, and then it will go up. And then we know that the next target is going to be looking at the next big target. I'm going to just draw some, I'm going to put it here. It will be 84. Obviously, then you put one somewhere here as well. But this is what I saw in NEE when it was here, because I put this to say it's formed the cup. This is the handle that had formed. It had respected it. And then it started this reversal, this line here, which was my target area. So now I'm going to move this somewhere here. It might get rejected when it gets here. That was not going to surprise us. It might get rejected along here. But if anyone took this play, you would have taken your profits off here already. By this point, you would have taken your profits. And then you'll wait to see if it crosses this line. It crosses this line and trends sideways. Once it starts trending side, your crossing the line is not your entry. It crosses the line. It either pulls back, trends sideways, or falls back underneath it. You want to see what the next three candles are. If the next three candles stay above it and starts looking like it wants to go up, yeah, then you get into it. And now there's a play between $82 and $85. And once you're done with that play, you also then have the next target, which is somewhere here. So this is NEE. I'm not expecting it to run directly that way, but I knew that we had about a $5 to $10 move on this play. And right now we've from down here when it was 76 to 81, we already have a $5 move. There's another $5 move somewhere up here. If that's gonna be immediately, if that's gonna be after the pullback, we'll wait and see. But I just thought I'd show you guys this because, like I said, when we say look at some charts or look at this, it doesn't mean you have to play it immediately. It just means have it on your watch list, look at what it's doing, and then maybe you're the one that will tell us, oh, see that ticker you asked me to look at, it's not moving. And BT did that. I think she was the only person that came back to me with some analysis on NEE to say this is what I see on it. I don't think she took it. I didn't take it either, but at least she came back with some analysis on the play to say this is what I see on it, and she was spot on with her analysis. So this is BT NEE for whoever is looking at it. I think it's a great play. I think it's solid, but we have our entries and our resistance spots. I just thought I should show you guys that sometimes when you draw some things, it doesn't have to go immediately, but if it holds the analysis that we had, because this is the handle here, if it holds the analysis and it never dropped below this and it still went back, then it tells you that some plays are still valid. Be it this week, be it next week, some plays are still valid. And to Huey's point, the dividend is being paid by 8/8. So maybe some people will buy. I don't know what's gonna happen between now and 8/26 rather. I don't know what's gonna happen between now and then. More money might flow in. I don't know. Maybe people want to buy some more shares so they can get they can get some dividends paid to them, something. I don't know, but we'll see. I'll stop sharing now so that here we can go on.
All right, cool. I just have just a handful more, and I see some requests, so I'm gonna just blow through mine real quick, and then we'll get to your request. So the next one that I have is CMCSA, and I know that T has been talking about this one for quite some time as well. What I like about CMCSA is, and this is Comcast, is there's been news of some potential partnerships, them acquiring some media providers. So I always watch news and just to see what the sentiment is. This ticker is one that many people haven't really touched ever since the Archegos fund kind of dropped the ball on them or had to sell them off based on whatever was going on with them. So, but I always keep that whole group of tickers on my radar because there's always massive moves. As you can see, there's always like big moves, coming in and out of them every once in a while. So what I see with this particular ticker that drew my attention to it is this massive uptrend that we're in. It's been, it comes down to this kind of area and then consolidates and buyers step in, right? Buyers step in. It consolidates and then buyers come and step in. And so it just keeps coming back down to this area. Now, I can see that we're a bit extended from the area. Let me put a moving average on this, actually. My MAs. So I can see that the buyers, I can see that it's a little bit extended from these moving averages. Right now, it's sitting above the 9 and the 21. On Wednesday, we formed the doji on the 21, and then we formed another indecision candle on Thursday. But then on Friday, we ran it up a little bit. So what I'm hoping for is that we retest some of these highs before we try to come back to test this trend line, right? Another thing that I see, and just so it could be a little bit more clear, is this. So I just see this massive triangle forming, this ascending triangle, right? So let me change to the weekly so we can see this a little bit more clearly. Yeah, so you can see big swings, massive retrace on this day, traded sideways, pop, traded sideways, broadening formation on these 4 days. So you know what? Actually, now that I switch over to the weekly, it looks more bearish to me. It actually looks more bearish to me now that I switch to weekly. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we touch some of these levels here. We can play from 58.70 up to about 59, and then sell into 59. And once it gets to 59, see what it does, right? If it continues to move, then you can retake your entry, small position, and just trim on the way up into these levels. You know, this looks like it wants to come back down to this level to test it. Maybe it'll continue and then bounce. So I'm just going to draw it so that we don't forget. It might do something like this. Take it at the break, sell into here. Maybe it does one of these. And then it comes down, right? Back into this trend line before it bounces back up. Let me go ahead and draw it and leave it there. One there. One there. And then one like that. 3 moves, 3 potential moves out of CMCSA. And in terms of a long-term play, if you like this, I would wait to see what happens after this triangle. This also looks kind of like a rising wedge, which will break down to the downside. It looks like the 21 moving average on the monthly is a good place to support. Because even when it broke it here, it always climbed back up. Even if it broke it here, it waited a couple months and climbed back up. It looks like it might serve as support. And so if you want to enter long calls and you want to see a break and then see where it bases. And if you like it for the short term, then the weekly looks a little bearish. So I would play it for a day or two. The daily looks like we have 1 or 2 more days of upside. And then we can get puts and play back down. And then, so that's the last one that I have. I'm going to go into the requests. The first one was Wish. I like Wish. So let's see. Yeah, this is all this is all accurate. I still like the company. It's still subject to manipulation. Right now I can see a higher low. The last time that we spoke about it, it was around this level, and it just put in massive movement out of those days. And now it's back to test these previous levels of support. Right now it looks like it's sitting at support. They have earnings on the 12th, which is Thursday. Wish, so I posted some stuff in the stocks channel. Wish has 98.4% institutional and insider buying. Institutional and insider ownership, which means that out of this massive red day and all this downtrend, all the sellers have been retail sellers such as you and I. The people who work within the company and who are tied from, have family ties to the company, and the institutions, according to the stat, are all holding this. And so that should give you a lot of confidence. I personally think the chart is super bearish because it's sitting up underneath all its moving averages. It's sitting underneath all its moving averages at IPO all the way over here at 22.69. It made a high of 32 and change. What was it? 32.85. And it's never been anywhere up here since, not even its IPO price. It's just been failing. If you look into their model is pretty strong. They're like a kind of a wholesaler so if anyone that doesn't know, you can use Wish as a service provider to buy products, to sell on a wholesale basis. So if you have a store, you can use their products, buy in bulk and sell out. So I think it's all Chinese. I think most of the products are Chinese rather, excuse me. I like to see this trend line hold personally. I think it's going to reject based on what I see here, all this kind of rejection at this moving average, lately, right? It might reject and then test this trend line one more time before it works its way back up. I'm not going to play it because of earnings. I secretly hope that earnings brings it back down so I can add some more shares down here at this level. This is a really, really good price. I think this is like a $50 company personally, based on the market cap, based on the amount of people who use the service, based on the amount of time they've been around. I think it's great. And I've played it a couple of times. It's very difficult to play because it's very manipulated. So, when you see the profits very quickly, you got to take it out. But personally, I would see it. I wouldn't enter until it's back around this level, around this trend line. If it gets underneath it and starts to base, then that's your entry, and then you take it to the upside. Tony, you see anything else on? Do you see anything else on this on Wish?
Sorry, I keep messing up my mute button. No, I think the trend line is right. Like you said, you want to see it does. You want to make sure that it doesn't break it. You want to make sure it keeps respecting it, right? So as long as it doesn't break it below, if it doesn't fall below that trend line, you know, um, you'll find. My is this the daily?
This is daily.
Um,
You want to see a different chart?
no, it's cool. I'm not. Yeah, let me just say the weekly quickly if you don't mind. Just one. I don't like this a lot. I don't like the week. I don't like Wish, honestly. I see it's respecting the trend line at least for a bit. Um, it's not my favorite. Yeah, it's not my favorite exactly. I see that, and if you go to the daily as well, um, it could easily break below that line.
Mm-hmm.
So with Wish, I'm not in a hurry to touch this one. I'll wait and see what it does. Because if it breaks below that line and breaks below that the week of the bottom one, if it breaks below that, yeah, if it breaks below that, we're dropping all the way down to that last one. So it's not one I'm in a hurry to touch personally. Tomorrow morning, it could come out and bust out of that triangle, and then we're off to the races. It could bust out on the upside, and we're off to the races. But for now, it's not making. I'm not excited about it. I think that's just my opinion on this one. I'm not. It doesn't excite me at this point.
Yeah, if you guys like this and you want to play if you think there's a run up, wait for it to give you the run up first. I wouldn't hold through earnings because anything can happen during earnings, especially with a ticker like this. And I've been playing it. I played options on it once. I'm just playing shares on it for now because I like the company. And I don't look at the chart too much. The uptrend's nice. I bought it around here, around one of these days. I think it was on this day. And so I'm gonna, if it gets back down, I'll load it, and that's how I'm playing it personally. I don't think that we should play options on this unless you see something
Yeah,
crazy on it.
yeah, I agree.
So the next one on the next one that we saw in the chart in the chat was NVIDIA. NVIDIA to me looks like it's giving upside H vibes, right? So move up, come down, retracement, bounce off this 0.618 Fibonacci level, and kind of consolidated for a bit, and now it's on its way back up. There's also like kind of, you can also see this as a flag here, from here to here, starting a flag, right? With NVIDIA, if it maintains this level here, actually let me throw the volume study on this. So with NVIDIA, personally, I would like it to keep above this area. Just hold above this area for a day, one more day of holding above this area, and then we can go back and so if you look at this volume profile right here, this extension, this little gray box right here, or shelf, I want to see it trade along this, right? Once it starts trading in these levels, and it can easily come back down, to like this level here. To this level here. Just draw the box on it. If it breaks this level, it can easily come back down to this level to test where the support is at down here. There's a little bit of support over here as well. A little bit of support over here, right? I personally think that it'll hold this level based on the buying pressure that I saw on this day. And this is a day, I mean, Friday, I was just, there was a point in time on Friday where I was like, yo, what's going on? Is every Friday just like a nasty sell-off day? Like, what's going on? And NVIDIA, even with all that sell-off, there were still buyers that stepped in for it. Another thing I see is that there's a decline in the volume. And so, normally what we see is we'll see like volume go down and then explode, right? And the volume will explode in a particular direction. It just so happens to be earnings in 2 weeks. The chart looks like it's bullish. It looks like it's an upside H. It looks like it's a bull flag that just broke out. It looks like it looks like kind of like a handle right here. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, and then if you look at the weeklies, it's just a clean move. It was a dump off for all-time highs, right? And then a massive retrace, like super bullish, because we dumped this much and we came all the way back and it ate up all the way back into it. We traded sideways, and now we broke out of that little sideways consolidation to test these previous levels. This NVIDIA actually broke out above the previous week's high. So, I mean, again, I'm bullish on it. I like this massive flag. Upside levels, and I know there's a play for this already. I know a few people are in there already, but what I want to see is I want to see it hold. If it held this level here, and it took over the previous high of the week, the close of the week, excuse me, then it's super bullish and it can break up and kind of trade up into these higher levels. We might get an earnings run up for the next couple of weeks or the next week, depending. So I would just keep that on your watch list. T, what do you? I know you actually you might have called it NVIDIA play. What do you think about it?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
You want to switch to your chart?
All right. Let me do that.
Yeah, because I know you might have some stuff on there that I like clean. I like my nice clean charts.
It's very similar to yours, but I'll just share it. So with NVIDIA, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so with NVIDIA, I looked at the weekly first. That's why I saw on this one. So if you look at my chart here, and I'll expand it just a little bit so that you can see why I'm a little bit bullish on NVIDIA. Like here we said, it's done the pull up, run down, going back. So that's a traditional bullish move. 1, 2, 3. We've seen all that. That's great. I also looked at the fact that we've had it touch the support here, 1, 2, 3. So we're on that uptrend. So even on the pullback, we're on the uptrend, which is what we want to see. It keeps making that move. So with all this, NVIDIA already looks to me like it's a multi-day play. Some of us got in for last week expiration. There's an NVIDIA play for this week as well. However, I think Huey mentioned it, but for me, NVIDIA crosses 206 before I get in, or 207 before I get in. Not just because of all this line, I know, but it struggled already multiple times. You can see that I struggled here. It couldn't get here. It didn't, we had this pushback down here. It tapped, it came back down here. So we know that this zone is a trouble zone already. So to me, the first thing I'm looking at is NVIDIA needs to get out of this zone. Where is it? That's my first line of thought. So NVIDIA needs to get out of this zone. This zone is 206.91 or something. So I need NVIDIA around 207 for me to know that, I call this traffic. I don't want to deal with this traffic. I need to be on the express, right? All this is traffic for me. So if NVIDIA gets out of this traffic, then we'll go, and then, but until then, you could take a play. You could take a play because at 203, you could put your money there and get $3 out of it. It's a play some people will take and be happy because that's a run from year to year. If that's your play, works for you as well. But for me, I think I could get more from this. So I'll be patient. I'll wait for NVIDIA to clear its way, and then I'll jump into that play. NVIDIA could also get rejected here again and drop down. Excuse me. This is the weekly, remember. So if NVIDIA starts pulling back on the weekly, let's say it opens, excuse me. Let's say it opens the wrong way, then I know that there's a drop spot here, which goes all the way to 197 for NVIDIA. So if it starts pulling back, I know that there's a put play for 197, and I know that there's a play somewhere here as well, which is the end of this week. And then there's a play somewhere here. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna force a play with NVIDIA. I like it, it's one of my favorite tickers, but I'm not gonna force a play. If it crosses here and goes there, fine. If it hits here and gets rejected again, I'll take a put and I'll take it, and then I know that it's gonna test it again because it wants to cross here. How maybe it might pull back, and maybe the earnings is what will get it there for next week. Who knows? Maybe it has positive earnings and then it shoots up. So I'm gonna play what Nvidia gives me. I'm not gonna prejudge it. So I'm patient on this one. It crosses here, fine. It crosses 207 and holds 3 candles minimum. A couple of candles there. I look at it, I see it holds, I take it. It gets rejected, I take a put, get out. Not a put I'm going to hold for long. I'll take a put that I can sell, almost scalping a put, really. I'll scalp it and get out, and then I'll wait for the re-entry opportunity. But yeah, that's how I play NVIDIA.
You want to take this this VIAC and this SQ? I know that you've called both of those out, and I know them a little bit more intimately than I do.
Okay, all right. So let me just do VIAC.
and crypto, I see CAN. So I'll do CAN after T does these two. I'll do CAN.
So I'll just do this one. So it's a VIAC, and I'll look at the weekly for VIAC. And what was the other one?
SQ.
SQ, yeah, my baby.
Somebody got paid.
SQ has been good. I can't complain. All right, so this is SQ weekly. Let's start. I just want to look at that a little bit. So this doesn't surprise us with SQ. If you look at what's been happening over the last few weeks, we had the green week where most of us, got in, make some money. Some of us now got burned because we got greedy and went back into it again. And then last week we had this big run up that took us here. So it ended above the previous week, which is good. So we're trending on an upside here. I mean, this is VIAC rather, sorry, for VIAC, so dropped down, had this whole thing, had this spinning top, ended on an upside and all. So if you look at the daily for this one, this is what we had. Big drop down, big reversal, and this shoot up here, and then this ended just where this green candle ended. So it's in a great place. It didn't end above, it practically went back to where it started from here. So this ended where this started from, where this really ended, to be honest, so it's almost like we're still, just imagine you're still here because nothing happened here. This was like +10 and -10 kind of here. So we're still at 0 at this point. So we need to see where this opens tomorrow. I like it. I need to see where it opens tomorrow. There's a huge possibility that this will run this week. Just from what I'm seeing, there's a huge possibility that I might have a run. If it opens above here, this could go to $43 easily. Just from what I'm seeing here, for VIAC. So I like it. I just need to see what it does. But if it opens above here, if it opens this week above $42 literally, yeah, if it opens above $42, I think we have 43 first price target, and then we could look at $44 as well. For squares, sorry guys, I just threw something from upstairs. So for Square, it still looks extremely bullish. That's the funny thing about Square. Let me take all this stuff out. Even with the run we've had, with everything we've had for Square, it still looks bullish. And why I decided to show you guys the weekly was this. Let me explain it, and you'll see why it was important I looked at the weekly and not just the daily. This is literally a 3-bar play. Huey, can you see that?
100%, 100% 3-bar play right there.
Yep, this is a 3-bar play on the weekly that you see here. So 3-bar play is literally you have a green candle, you have another candle. Most usually it's red. It could be green, but usually it's red.
Yep.
Form within the body of this candle, maybe up to like 50% is like, the acceptable, it drops a little bit below that, but maybe 50%. So as you can see, this forms 50% from top of the week to bottom of the week, from top week to bottom week. The red candle forms 50% into that, and then the third candle opens up and goes all the way past these two candles. So it opens up at the bottom of this red one and closes above the two candles. So what you see here, I'll call it a 3-bar play. Some other people call it different things or whatever, but this thing here is bullish, right? So on the week, from a weekly play perspective, this ended on a positive side for Square. Yes, we know that, yes, it's it's at an all-time high and all the other stuff. We get that. I mean, yeah, all-time high. So we get all those bits, but we can see the formation and we know that the pattern looks great. So if I came down to the daily for Square, this is what I'm seeing for it. And that's why I took out the signs. I needed to see what I see. So we've had up, bounce, up, bounce, up. It's come down. It's here now. We might have another opening here tomorrow, right? Or even if it opens up red tomorrow. And remember, I keep stressing this point. This is a weekly chart. It's not a daily chart. It's not a minute chart. It's not a 5 minutes chart. We're doing a weekly analysis. So this could pull back tomorrow, and but we could still end up, it could still end up here on Friday. So it now becomes an issue of entry, which I think is something that we've been struggling with a little bit. Most of us, our entry has been spotty, and sometimes I'm to blame as well because I put out the calls. So I take responsibility for that as well, and I'm looking to find ways to improve on what how our entries could be better. But if I look at this on the daily, I've seen the pattern. It goes up, it pulls back a little bit to the 20, it goes up, it pulls back here, it goes up again, it's probably here. So I anticipate that either it gives me one more red day or it shoots up, but I know that we're probably going to end the week higher than we started the week for Square. That's what I'm looking at, and I get that confirmation from looking at the weekly because I can already see that each week, we had this week here, we ended this week here, we ended this week here, even though it touched here. So I anticipate that if it opens up here, if it opens up above 275.10 tomorrow, we'll be aiming again for maybe not 289 because that was pretty high. Maybe not 289, but 280 is definitely in our cards for this week. If it can open up above here, then 280 is somewhere here. Yep. We can be looking at 280, which is the length of this small candle here. 282 or thereabout. So I like it a lot as long as it opens up above here. I like Square a lot. It's a solid ticker. It's a solid play. It's had its sell off, but I think it's coming back again. So definitely one that we need to keep an eye out for this week. Huey, over to you.
All right. So I see I'm gonna do can and I see a couple more requests. Let me share my screen. I'll go through these pretty quickly. I don't want to hold you guys up for the rest of the night. So we're gonna go through this pretty quickly. All right, cool. So can is, for those that don't know, can, this is another crypto miner. This is a daily chart. Let me zoom out so we can see what it's been doing. So put in this massive head and shoulders, last year or earlier this year, and kind of just sold off, just like everything else. It filled the gap. So I can get rid of this. Where is it? Whatever. Anyway, it filled the gap. It fell, maintained the downtrend. Now it's basing. It found support at previous levels of resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this line here so we can see it. This support here is pretty much this resistance over here. right? Which is good. And now it's reversing. I don't like to call reversals until they break these previous levels, these previous pivots. So this is a pivot right here. This is a pivot right here. There's a bunch of stuff going on over here, and there's a pivot right there, right? And then we already broke out of this one, so we have to stay above this level. This is an important level that we have to keep above. I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah. So as long as we stay above this level here, right? Even if CAN has a bad couple of days, as long as it stays above this level, then we can reasonably expect that it's going to come up to test this previous level at 10.97 or $11, we can call it, right? $11, let's call it. So yeah, I like CAN. It's on an uptrend, as you can see. It's above all of the volume profiles. The bigger volume profiles are below it. If it can break out above this level here, and I'm just looking at the profiles, if it can break out above this level right here and this level right here, then the next target for me personally in terms of volume profile would be this level right here. And I'm just looking at these, right? So that's what I see for CAN. Again, this is a crypto sympathy play. And so if crypto, I've been noticing that weekends like crypto the past couple of weekends, that last weekend and this weekend, if it happens to continue the trend, then there's no reason why we can't get back to like $12 on CAN. Although if you do play it, I wouldn't play weeklies. I would get my first play would be to put something that's out in September. My second play would be something that's, if you see it's moving and you catch it on a good day, then you can play the weekly. But don't jump into the weekly immediately because it's not gonna, it might not give you money right away. But we'll watch it and we'll set our alerts. I'm actually gonna set an alert at the open of, at the high of day. Once it crosses that line, then it's gonna alert me. All right, so the next one I see is Apple. Apple has been trading within this supply zone right here. Pretty much there's another supply zone over here actually. Let me just draw it now. It's gonna be an ugly supply zone, but it's there. So I don't like Apple until it breaks out of this choppy area here. I need to see Apple above this line here at 147.60. Above that is when I'll get more interested in it. But right now I'm not really too interested in it because it's just in a choppy area. You can play downside. There's a downside move here. You can play Apple from let's see, the break of 145.97. So we'll just call it 146. Just go ahead and put 146 here. If you want to play to the downside, there's a downside play here at 146. And then you can take that down to, there's a demand zone there. You could take it down to this level here and maybe this level here and maybe the top of the demand zone and maybe there. But I don't see it doing all of this. I see it continuing along this line. You see where the volume profile is. I see it just continuing just along that line and working its way back up. I'm very bullish on Apple. Obviously there's a trend line here. It's at the trend line, so we have make or break. I'm very bullish. I just still won't take a play until it's above this area because this is just a tough area. We see there's a tough area for Apple. It was a previous gap, and then so we just needed a bunch of trading up inside this gap right here, which happened. And so we're probably gonna have another 1, 2, 3, 4 days, maybe along this trend line before it goes back up. So, and I don't know if Apple has any catalysts incoming. There's a dividend payout on Friday, which is why they probably dropped. I mean, most tech dropped on Friday anyway, but the dividend could have been a strong reason why Apple dropped. And so let's just watch it to see what it does. If it holds this trend, then you can play calls. If it breaks the trend, then you can play puts on Apple. The next one that we have is PTON. So, and actually, let me go back to Apple real quick. Look at the weekly. I know my charts are hard to see, but Apple has a nice, and just a continuation of this bullish move, a nice big bullish move. And then it looks like it's range contracting. It put in a big range on this day and on this week, and then put in a small range on this week. And so it might put in a big range again this following week. It might put an even smaller one. It depends. But the bias is still bullish. The bias is still extremely bullish because look at all these massive green candles on the weekly. If we go to the monthly, then it did this move, consolidated and broke out, and it's continuing. It might continue its breakout, right? So that's it for Apple. Let's do PTON. With PTON, let's go to the weekly. Now, there's a shoulder here and a head, and another shoulder area, another area of resistance over here. Very strong area to break out of. I know that Jay mentioned this ticker for a triple tap over here. There was a triple tap going on over here. It looks like a failed triple tap, and so now we need to let it find support before it works its way back up. If it can open up and move upward, then we're making higher lows. Right now, I see this trend. I see that trend right now. So let's see what, again, we can just talk about it all day until the price action tells us something different, right? So tomorrow we'll see what it does. It can break down below this. Let's let it find support on these blue levels. If it holds this trend line, then you can play it from the hold of the trend line back up to this level, this area here where this box is. I would sell into this box and then let it make a decision. And it looks like, it depends. We'll see what it does. All the volume came in was on a sell candle on this week. And then after that, a strong buy. And then the volume kind of dried up. They have earnings in 2 weeks. And so that might be a good catalyst for a run up. But I wouldn't take it until we see that it either breaks this and holds, like breaks and holds underneath this line or above this line. And then we'll know what to do with it.
What ticker is this again?
PTON.
Okay. Can you just quickly go to the daily?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So that's PTON. And it looks like there's a lot of volume that came in on this day too, on this Friday, relative to the previous days, previous couple of weeks. So this could also be exhaustion. Again, we just want to see what's going to happen on Monday. If it opens down here, we won't play it. If it starts to trade sideways and it moves up, then I personally don't like to play when things dump like this. I don't like to play until it gets into at least halfway above into the retracement.
When have they got earnings?
They have earnings on the 26th.
Okay, that just aligns well because I was gonna say this looks like a 2 weeks play.
Yeah.
This is not a 1 week play. This, just from what I've seen, it looks like a 2 weeks play. So, and it looks like a 2 weeks play that you have to get your entry right. Otherwise, you could start, your contract will start decaying before the move starts. So
Yeah, what I see with this is see massive red day. What I'm seeing is a potential other day like this tomorrow where it kind of just chills along that line and doesn't really do much. It's just choppy. And then from there, it's gonna make a big move either up or down. So just watch it. If you have if you're watching the flow, you can go into those channels and see what the flow's telling you with PTON. Go on Twitter, find out what people think about it, and check the OI, check how it changes throughout the day, and it'll give you the direction. But I wouldn't touch it until
that space this week, but it will break out next week. That's the way I look at it. That it'll struggle and pull up until it gets into that red space, that red box that you've got.
yeah.
But I expect the breakout next week, personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it until I personally wouldn't touch it above this until it gets above this level. And even if I get in on this level, I would watch it until it gets into this level and I would sell here because this is where it's going to make its decision. You see, it's failed twice already. All these days it's failed. So we'll see. And then the last one that I have is, and this is a tough level for it to break based on the volume profile. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw another box there. This level here is tough level. And then so the last one that I have here, and we'll let you go for the night, guys, is TDOC. Let's look at the weekly. Let's look at the monthly. All right, so let's see. $308. Wow, I didn't know it went that high. Okay. So Teladoc, based on Fibonacci, it's sitting at an interesting level at a 382 Fibonacci level. Um, so I've never played this ticker, but price action is price action. So if it gives me a base here and it starts to retrace into this red candle, then I would feel good about it testing the higher levels of this area. I don't know if we're going to get a massive move such as these. You know, Teladoc is one of those tickers that was affected by COVID, where COVID was a strong catalyst for it to move. Teladoc, Zoom, Peloton's one of them. Netflix was never one of them. There's a handful of tickers that are like COVID catalyst tickers. So I personally wouldn't touch it until it's above this level here. Just because I don't like to play within smaller ranges. I like to break pivots. Even if I have an upside from here to here, I would let that go until it gets here. Even from there, you still have a little bit of traffic up ahead. Let me remove these previous lines to make it a little bit more
Is this
clear.
the daily or the weekly you're looking at?
This is the daily. This is the weekly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that, I mean, if anyone's interested in TDOC, you know, it is forming an uptrend right now. There is a downtrend resistance also. So, you know, you can play here up to the top if it's a true top. I would let it break out of this. I would personally wouldn't take it until it breaks this level here, this pivot, and tries to see, you know, some of these levels. However, I don't see the risk reward personally until it gets into like above here. Because on these weeks, these 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it put in this massive move. And so these levels are going to be very easy to cut through. Even with all of this back here, this level and price action is going to be very easy to cut through if we can get above this, especially with the coronavirus as a strong sentiment driver. They have earnings in 2 months, 3 months. So I don't know. I don't like it. It's on an uptrend. It has a downtrend. It's on an uptrend for a longer time frame. Shorter time frame, it's on a downtrend. So I personally, I mean, I don't see a play here yet.
Do you mind if I see the daily again?
Yeah,
Here.
yeah. Hold on.
Okay. And just minimize it a little bit if you don't mind. So, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Don't. Even if you. Yeah. This is not one I would advise anybody to focus on now. It's not what the risk. It's trading in a limited space. You know, it could. Could you mind just taking it up a little bit, the chart, so that I
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
what happened what's beneath it? Yeah. And then close it, shrink it a little bit.
Getting closer like this.
No, shrink it the other way. Yeah. 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 This could easily, if this just breaks that low bottom side, well, it could drop all the way down to that green line that Huey has down there. So, and if it breaks up and goes up, it's gonna, it could run more probably, but it's not a play for this week for me. It's not a play I'm interested in this week.
Yeah, this isn't really giving clear direction, and if you put your money into it, it's not gonna give you money clear direction either. It's gonna just take chip
Yeah,
away at it.
a contract to just decay and then
Yeah, yeah.
passing dates going on. Um, it's a play to have on your watch list, but it's not a play I'll be taking this week. You know, give it this week to decide what it wants to do, and by next week, by this time next week, we'll have a clearer picture of where it's gonna go. If this decides to run and you decide to chase it, that's up to you, and you can make some money from it. Don't get me wrong, you know, there's money to be made here. It's just not my play. It's not something I'm gonna touch personally, you know. So if you see it running and you want it, you can do it. If you see it breaking below and going down, you can do it, but it's not a play that I personally like to touch. It's the risk reward is not it's not there for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's see. Hold on one second. I'm gonna stop my screen for a second. Yeah. All right. So I mean, T, you have any last words or any last tickers you want to share?
No more tickets from me. I think the only thing is this week I'll be very scarce. I've got something I'm working on that it's it's from my organization. It's something that will take a whole lot of my time. So I'll be fairly scarce this week. So I'll try as much as possible to be present as much as I can, but I think majority of the time I won't be as available as I usually am. So just quick heads up to everyone.
Yeah. And guys, again, we saw a shift in the market last week on the last 2 days. And some of us were able to take advantage of it. And the same thing always applies. Never force anything. Let the plays come to you. We have plenty of plays. I mean, there's plenty of plays still in the channels in gold nuggets that you can still take advantage of. That haven't even materialized yet. So no rushing. Let me just hold on one second. And yeah, I mean, we're here for guidance. We're here. Everybody here knows how to trade options. You guys know how to make money doing this stuff. We So each and every Sunday, we're here for the watch list. And some of these things take time. Like a lot of the stuff that I'll post, and my watch list will be up tonight. And a lot of the stuff that we post doesn't come to fruition right away. Some of it does. Some of it you can take immediately. Some of it will take some more time to materialize. But we're always here for support. If you have any questions, obviously, or if you have any additional tickers or any tickers that you're watching, any charts that you want to post up, go ahead and post them in a group. For anybody who's not a member, we're running a free trial for 1 week. You can bang out with us for 7 days during the weekend and also during trading hours by visiting goldrushgang.net. You'll be able to join the community and see what we're about. And I think that's it, guys. I mean, let's take one last quick look at SPY and QQQ futures real quick to see what they're doing. Yeah. So futures are opening up right on NASDAQ and on SPY. So I feel like we're going to just come and touch some of these previous levels here, base out, and then let me just draw my line. We might touch some of these previous levels here, base, and then turn around and go back up. There's no reason to go down at this point. There's nothing that they're saying that's going to bring us down, but we'll see. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's what we have for this weekend. And if you're not a member in the server, then join today. And if you are a member, then we'll see you in the server right after this. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks, man.
Peace, guys.